Welcome to our fall 2020 youth sports season. Instead of being able to have an in-person parent meeting, we're doing the best that we can, being able to give you one virtually. As you registered, there was a few things this year that were different than what we've done in the past, a few boxes that you needed to check. Just wanted to summarize what some of those were so there was no confusion as we go through the season. Some of them, again, were COVID-19 related. One adult per participant can be there at the field. Face masks must be worn by anybody not actively playing on the field. So spectators, officials, staff, any subs on the sideline. If for any reason, as we go through our season, it's deemed unsafe for any individual out there, we will be canceling the season, giving you guys as much notice as we possibly can via email, phone call, social media, so that you guys have that information. And again, if we need to cancel our season because of that, we'll be doing prorated refunds. If it's a request coming from urine that you would like a refund, they need it to be submitted by September 20th. If you were unable to meet that deadline, we'll take it on a case-by-case basis. Practices and games for this season. Something different than we've had in seasons past. We will have about 30 minutes in between each practice and game time. That gives you guys as players and parents and coaches the ability to get everything cleaned up from the field and be able to leave the facility before we can open it up to our next teams coming in. And it gives our staff some time to clean and sanitize in between each practice. Also new this season, all the next information that you will be getting, you will get a copy of this packet at your first practice. Our coaches will have a packet for each of you with the following information, and we will have signage all over the field. So in case you have any questions, it will be available to you. If you are sick, stay home. If you are not feeling well, if you've been around somebody who hasn't been feeling well, if you're exhibiting any signs of COVID, we're asking everybody to do a self-assessment before coming out to practices, before coming out to games. And if you do have 100.4 fever, we're asking you to stay home. Cleaning protocols will be stepped up for this season, so our staff will be between practices and games, taking that extra step, cleaning and sanitizing highly touched surfaces, during games, halftime, in between innings. Any frequently touched game items that are used will be cleaned, swapped out for use. We're asking that everybody brings their own equipment and water bottle to the fields. So for baseball, if they have their own helmet, glove, bat, please make sure that you are bringing them. We will be issuing them hats with their uniform. In the past, we've said, hey, make sure that you're putting your name on it. The kids will take it off, throw their hats down. Maybe they don't end up with the right one. So please make sure that you're writing their names inside the hats or you're marking them in some way. Avoid doing it on the front brim. That kind of marks off onto the forehead. If they don't have their equipment, we will have equipment for the coaches to use. Again, if it's having to be used by multiple players, we'll make sure that it is getting clean and sanitized between use. For soccer, again, if your kids have their own soccer ball, make sure they're bringing that out to their practices to use. Water bottle, again, make sure that you're bringing plenty of water for your child and for you. Always important, we're here in Arizona, triple-digit temperatures are still happening. Hopefully it'll be cooler by the time that we hit our season, but it's always important to bring more water than you think they're gonna need because there will be no sharing of water bottles. So again, it's really important, enough for them and enough for you. Again, one spectator will be allowed per participant. During practices, if you feel okay waiting in your vehicle, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, you can be out at the field, always maintaining that physical distance of 6 feet. Making sure that you're washing your hands. Sanitize those hands before you come to the field. We will have hand sanitizing stations there at the field that you can utilize, and make sure that you're doing it before you go. And again, masks will be required for all staff, spectators, and officials. Players on the sideline, in the dugout, they will be required. Anybody actively playing, they will not need to be wearing the masks. No gatherings before or after the games. So after your game is over, please look around, clean up your area. We always want to make sure that we're leaving our parks cleaner than what we found them. Please make sure you get to your vehicle and then you leave. We want to make sure that everybody's away from the field before our next teams can show up. After the games, during the games, there will be no halftime snacks, no after game snacks, and no handshakes at home plate or on midfield this season. There will be no spitting, and unfortunately, again, at the baseball games, we will not be allowing sunflower seeds, so don't bring the seeds to the games. And again, making sure that we're practicing that social distancing on the sidelines. In the dugouts, we will be utilizing the bleachers for our overflow of participants, so parents, again, make sure that you're bringing your own seating. One of the fun things that I know you guys always love to hear is when we go over our parent code of conduct, what we expect from you guys out there on the field. Broken down, simply, we're expecting 6 things from you guys. That you're going to display good sportsmanship and be positive, a positive support for your team, your coach, other parents on your team, and the other team and officials that are out there. You're showing that good sportsmanship. You're not yelling, swearing, cussing, bullying the other team, officials, or coaches. 2, you understand that this is a recreational sports program that focuses on positive emotional and physical development, teamwork, and sportsmanship. You're making sure that you're putting the emotional and physical well-being of your child above your want to win, and that we're keeping it a fun and safe and healthy environment for our children to play. 3, that you will demand a safe and healthy youth sports environment for your child. So all the steps that we're taking for COVID-19, we also want to make sure that there's no tobacco, no alcohol, no drugs there at the field during our practices and during our games. 4, that you will refrain from shouting instruction or coaching from the sideline. Your child has a coach. They are volunteer coaches. They are not getting paid to be out there. They're taking time out of their busy schedule. Let them coach. If you have any instruction for your kid, again, during a break, you can talk to your child. After practices, go ahead and talk to your child. But during the game, please don't try and shout over your coach. Let them do what they're there to do. Number 5, I will ensure that my child treats other players, coaches, and staff with respect, regardless of race, sex, creed, or ability. You're going to make sure, again, what you're doing, you're having your kid do. What your coach is doing, please make sure you're following those examples, that good sportsmanship out there for everybody. That you're making sure that you're bringing your child to practices and games so they're there getting all the information that they do need, and then you're opening a good line of communication with your coach. You want to make sure that anything that's happening, you're in the know. So make sure they have a good line of communication with them, they have good contact information with you, and that you're responsive when they are reaching out. And then 6, I will familiarize myself with the rules of the sport that my child is playing in. Our city might do things a little bit different than other organizations or other cities, so knowing what rules that we are enforcing is really important so that you're not telling them to do something against what we might be doing out there. So our rules will be posted on our website. Talk to your coach about it. Be in the know the information that's going on. And the last thing that I would tell you, again, it's not on your code of conduct, but be your child's biggest fan. Do not be their biggest critic. After a game, they're out there, they're excited, they've done phenomenal, they feel like they're on cloud 9, and you get in the car and the first thing that you want to do is talk to them about what they could do better, isn't what they need to hear. Be their biggest fan, enjoy it with them, let them know that you enjoyed watching them play, and that's going to make their experience a whole lot better. So please remember, be their biggest fan, not their biggest critic. Sun safety and dehydration. Again, in Arizona, these are very key things for us as we deal with really high temperatures. Our season, again, should be a little bit cooler as we're starting later than normal, but always remembering to stay hydrated. You want to make sure that you're drinking plenty of water, that your athletes specifically, but both of you are drinking plenty of water before, during, and after the games. A good rule of thumb is that if their urine is clear or the color of lemonade, they're doing all right. Severe dehydration can lead to heat illnesses. You can get heat cramps, heat exhaustion, which again are treatable by getting them some water, getting them in the shade, cooling them off a little bit. If it continues to go on, it can lead to the potentially fatal heat stroke, which again we really want to avoid. So making sure that as we're still in the hot temperatures, you're avoiding going outside between 12 and 4. If you're at the parks, you're bringing your own shade. Do you have an umbrella? Do you have a canopy? Find a tree, get under that shade, and trying to stay out of there. Remembering clothing. What kind of clothing are you wearing? Is it going to help protect you from the sun? Do you have a hat, sunglasses to protect you from the sun's UV rays? And always remember sunscreen. Always key to kind of remember those steps as we go through our season. We talk about concussions a little bit. Again, you will be getting all this information as well from your coaches. So if you're not kind of catching up or you want more information on it, we will be giving you the information to have on hand. But youth sports, again, it comes with some danger as you are out there. And one of those big things that we try and avoid is, again, those concussions. All the safety that we put into place, all the protocols that we do, no matter how safe we make it, sometimes things can happen. A kid can slide on the floor, hit their head on the ground. They can get jolted by another player. They can take a ball to the head. Anytime that happens, your brain is in your head. It's kind of surrounded by fluid. You get jolted enough and that brain's gonna bounce around a little bit. That's what we're trying to avoid. Some of those things that you can look for if your child has been hit in the head, our coaches, our officials, they're gonna take them out. When in doubt, sit them out. They got hit on the head pretty hard, they ran into something, they got jiggled around a lot, we're gonna be pulling them out. If they get pulled out during practice, if they get pulled out of a game, that's it. They're done for that day. We wanna make sure that they're looked after, that it is safe. We don't wanna put them back out there if they might have a concussion. After the game, signs to kind of look for, can your child remember what happened? If they're answering a question, are they answering you kind of slowly? Do they feel nauseous a little bit? Do they move around kind of clumsily? Did they lose consciousness? Any of these signs that you're seeing, please take them in to get checked out, visit a doctor. Uniforms, again, we have ordered the uniforms. They will be in, and once we get them in, we'll go through, check through them all, contact your coach. Your coach will come in and pick them up, hand them out. Again, I want to stress we ordered the size that you provided for us. So if there are any issues with that size, in seasons past, we've maybe been able to make a few changes as far as sizes go. That might not be the case, so always stressing that we ordered what you told us to order. This season, again, brand new for us. All of our games, all of our practices will be held up at Sundance Park. Everything that we're doing. We won't have Earl Edgar, we won't have Tartesso, so that will be brand new for us this season. We're also changing up the dynamic a little bit, where most of our practices will happen at the beginning of the season. We'll have a few weeks of practices only, followed by 3 or 4 weeks of games, doing 2 games a week to end out our season. So no practices near the end of the season, no games during the beginning. Again, I want to stress always making sure that you're picking up after yourselves at the fields. Leave it better than what you found it. Have your kids make sure that they're bringing everything with them. If they brought equipment, make sure that they're taking it all with them. Water bottles, same thing. Just a reminder, no jewelry or metal cleats will be allowed out there on the fields. And we will still be doing a picture day. Our picture day will be October 17th, Saturday, October 17th. There will be no games that Saturday. Once we have the schedule in place, we'll email it out to the coaches, and the coaches will give you the information on what time you will be there. As with our practices and games, our pictures will be set up so they'll be extremely separated. It'll be 10 minutes for each team. All the pictures will be individual, and they'll be compiled together to make a team collage for our team picture this year. You will also get more information on what's happening with our pictures and the protocols and procedures that they will be doing for that upcoming day. Our season will start the beginning of October. We'll start running our practices with games finishing out, and we'll be going till the week right before Thanksgiving. And our coaches will start reaching out shortly. If you don't hear anything from them by the end of September, please give us a call at the rec center. At the end of this, we'll go ahead and provide you with the contact information that you need to contact us. But we want to make sure that we have your correct information on file. That's what we're going to be giving to our coaches. So again, give them about a week and a half to contact you. If you don't hear anything by the end of the month, reach out to us and let us know. If you are interested in coaching, we may or may not have some spots open. We will also have a FAQ sheet. We'll have a frequently asked questions sheet that we'll have posted on our Youth Sports page for any questions regarding registration or this upcoming season. That again, if you don't get the information you need from this video, you might find it on that link. And I just want to thank you for participating and registering in our program, and we're really excited to get going.